it to be something that felt more personal, and it was.
That's
The
cool.
way.
It's funny you mentioned that because somebody was just talking about Loom yesterday, and I was like, I don't even know anything. Why are we having a?
Feedback.
We have like an echo.
Right, it's okay now.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. Yeah, so you'll have to share with us one of these meetings all about, maybe we talk about Loom because I know that's coming up a lot more.
Right, it's much more personable than getting a text or an email. So it's kind of neat that can be sent out, and the Loom thing's free. You can upgrade, but it was totally free. There's a certain amount you can do for free.
We like free.
Yep.
We
They use
like
a
free.
service, just like similar to that called Bomb Bomb, and it is really great for sending personal videos to people. And you can also create a library of videos that you send a lot, such as explaining property taxes or something like that. So it's good.
That's awesome. Well, and KV Core has Bomb Bomb now integrated in that. If
Oh, it
y'all for
does?
those for y'all that use KV Core. So, but we should have a whole conversation. We should do that one huddle. We'll talk about Bomb Bomb and Loom and all the other four-letter words that have to do with video that I stay far, far away from. Oh my gosh. Okay. Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm excited about today. We're gonna, talk about attraction and some other things that we can do in the new year. Is everybody finishing strong? Are we feeling good about the month of December? Like next month is a new year. Isn't that crazy? It's so crazy. Wow. I know, right? So I'm excited for y'all to, I always talk about my people knowing my people. And Frank is one of my favorite people. He's one of he's corporate with the growth team. He's amazing. He's actually in our org, but he's just a really good friend of mine that he's on the East Coast. And I said, when we were at the Philly rally, which was so much fun, but we were talking about it, and I was like, man, I would love for you to just come in and love on everybody and show what we're doing that's different instead of a lot of the noise that we hear on attraction. So Frank, I am thrilled that you're here. Thank you this morning. And it's 9:05. So I'm going to let you take it away, and then you can open up for questions later or whatever interaction you want to have. So thank you for being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. And it's an honor to be here. Obviously I love talking to people all the time and take the stigma of the corporate thing away. I hate that, right? Everybody hates corporate. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy who's been
But I
around a
just
little
want
bit.
people to know
Yeah,
you're kind
I
of important.
appreciate
You're a
it.
big deal.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's my nickname around this house. Everybody calls me Mr. Big Deal. Trust me. I have 4 daughters, 18, 16, 14, and 12. And believe me, they don't think I'm a big deal at all. But it's great to meet everybody and just give a little background. So January 12th will be my 30th year in real estate. Been doing this for a while. Was a high producer for a while and for a very long time, and then got into the leadership part of it with KW. And then I left there and was with a company called Long and Foster, which is on the East Coast. People may have heard of. I was there for 10 years, and I had the opportunity to come here about 6 years ago. And I tell this story to a lot of people because I hope it resonates with you a little bit. The story was not told to me properly. So at that time, when I was told about it, I was like, they've only been around for a cup of coffee, and I don't know, the stock was at like $1.19, $1.25 or something, and it had been there for a while. And I'd get this virtual thing, and everybody's a cartoon character, and the whole thing didn't make sense to me. And I was like, that's okay. I'm not interested. Fast forward to 2 years ago now, coming up on 2 years. Dave Kennord, who was the then president of the company, he and I had a relationship, business relationship for the past 10 years. We kept crossing paths. And I was at a place in my career where I was uninspired, where I called him on a Friday afternoon. I think I told you this, Elizabeth. I may or may not have, but I called him at like 11 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. And I said, Dave, this is Frank. How you doing? He goes, hey, man, how are you? I said, great. I said, listen, I'm going to be resigning from my job in about 6 hours because I can't come back here ever again. And that's a true story. I said, I'm never coming back to this office. So I wanted to learn more about EXP, what you're doing, because I really trust Dave. He's for those who know him, if you don't know him, I know Elizabeth knows him very, very well. Dave is just a genuine guy. He's one of the best people you're ever going to meet. And, you know, I put a lot of trust in the people. As I've gotten older, my circle of trust has gotten really small. Remember when you're in your 20s and 25, you trust everybody, and you're 30 and you don't care about anything because you got the whole world in front of you. I'm in my mid 50s now, and my circle of trust has gotten really small, just because, you know, life takes you that direction. But I said, Dave, I'm going to be resigning in about at 5 o'clock. So if you think there's any opportunity for me at EXP, and if you think the company is that good, I'd like to talk to you about it. He goes, you might have called me at the right time. So we started talking, and we talked that Saturday. I did resign that day, by the way. And we were talking Saturday, and I said, I just have one question for you, man. You believe in this company? He goes, 100%. I said, then I'm in. So he goes, well, I have a position for you. I'm like, great. What is it? He tells me what it is. I'm like, great. I'm in. Sounds great. We never talked about salary. I didn't talk about, because I didn't care about that. So the one thing about me, and, you know, one thing about the quality of the people that we work with every day in this company, this goes for everybody on the screen. This goes for your leader. We work with the highest quality people I've ever been around. I've been doing this for 30 years, coming up on 30 years. I've been in leadership for 18 years. So let me put the first thing at rest for you guys to put your minds at rest. If you're curious, you know, with all these changes going on in the industry, and there's lawsuits and this and high interest rates and low inventory and all this stuff, here's what I can tell you all. You are in the absolute right place. I promise you that. You are in a place that will set you up for success. When it goes to the leadership meetings, which I'm in every Monday, when I tell you that everything we talk about has a suffix at the end of it, for all you English majors. And that's Glenn's suffix, which is always for the agent. Or how does that benefit the agent? So I will promise you that every decision that is made is always on your behalf. So first things first, before we get into all the traction stuff and all that, is you're in the right place. Everybody's got your back, and it's awesome. Everybody comes from a really genuine place, and the forward thinking that this company is always engaged in gives me a lot of confidence in where we're going. So feel good about where you are, guys, because that leads to the next part of what we're going to talk about, and that is a gift. So what I didn't realize is that 6 years ago, when someone was talking to me about EXP, they were offering me a gift, but it wasn't presented that way, so I didn't understand it. So let me, just by a show of hands, how many people are interested in attraction? Okay. How many people are afraid of attraction or afraid to do it? Yeah, let's be honest. It's good. It's okay. I'm going to remove your fears today. All right. So we're going to work on that. And I'll start with this little thought. And I wrote a bunch of notes down. So if I refer to my notes, bear with me. Just I want to prepare for this call. So one of the things that I always live by that I want to share with you is where did I put it? Hang on, Elizabeth. Your future determines your present, and your present determines your past. So what does that mean? A lot of times where you are in your present state was formed and dictated by what happened in the past. So now you have a chance or a choice. Do I want to stay here, or how do I want to progress? Your future can now dictate your present. So depending on where you want to get to, what you want that to look like could really define your actions of your present. So when we talk about this, there's a couple of things I'm going to start with. And one is, don't be afraid of attraction, right? When you think about the company that we have, what makes a great company? First and foremost, the people, right? And we just said that we have the best people. So one thing I've learned in real estate, and when I started, you know, I was never a team until I was always been an individual agent. And I thought I had to do everything myself. I never understood the power of leverage. What I will tell you, if you would like to springboard to the next level, leverage is your best friend. So what do I leverage? Well, you leverage your leaders. You leverage your upline. You leverage the tools that we have. Leverage your confidence in what you know. All of that kind of stuff. When you start to reframe your mind, you'll realize it's not all that scary. And here's the other thing. You can't break it. It's not that hard. So let's start with this. Let's start with changing some vocabulary. Let's not talk about recruiting people. Let's talk about attracting people. Two completely different mindsets for me. When I think about recruiting, I'm just trying to find somebody to fill a spot. Right? I'm recruiting somebody to fill this spot. When I'm attracting someone, I'm trying to find someone with the same core values, trying to find someone who I think I can help, trying to find someone who I think would be a great fit, that this might help enhance their life, which in turn enhances my life. So when I talk about attracting someone, whole different tone to the conversation. Because when you attract somebody, you build a relationship. When you recruit someone, you're just filling space. Does that make sense to everybody? At least a head nod would be good. Just give me a head nod. I don't need to jump on right now, but that would be good. Okay, so now, how do I talk to people? What are some of the things I can do? Well, think about this. Who right now has started building an organization? Does anybody have a downline yet? Okay, good. So for those who have them, well, whether you do, whether you don't, it's really simple to get a conversation started. Have a purpose. Think about when you're farming a neighborhood. Does one message fit all? Is it always a one size fits all? Not really. Not really. If you have a purpose to the message that you're trying to deliver, you may have better results. So a lot of times when I'm attracting people, or if I'm talking to some people, first thing I do is look at my own organization. And I'm like, well, what holes do I need to fill? What's going to help me get to the level that I'm trying to get to? Because remember, my future is now going to dictate my present. So if I'm somebody with no one, then what's going to help me accelerate my path? Let me take one step back further. Sorry, this thing's buzzing. It's hard to it's easy to get discouraged. Let's say that. You look at Elizabeth Riley, who's super successful, has built a really impressive organization. I got news for you guys. She works her ass off. Can I say ass on this, Elizabeth? I'm sorry. I'm Italian. I'm from the Northeast. She works her ass off. It was not easy. It's still not easy. So for everybody who thinks that there's a magic pill that it happens just like that because it's simple, it's not. You have to work at it. Right? Okay, that part we know. If you dedicate yourself to the actions that you want, your results will be a direct reflection of your actions. But here's the other thing. Elizabeth started with one person. You start with one, and then you'll get to two, and then you'll get to four. It's one step at a time. So stop putting all this pressure on yourself that I need to get to 1,000 people by Tuesday or I'm a complete failure. Stop thinking that way. Let me ask you this. The power of one, right? When I was in production, I used to live by the power of one. That was my whole motto, my whole mantra. If I could find one person, just one person that wants to buy or sell real estate in the next 6 to 8 weeks, if I can find one a week that wants to buy or sell in the next 6 to 8 weeks, my pipeline will have 52 people in it by the end of the year. If my conversion rate is 50% on that, I'm going to sell 27 houses, 26 houses. Okay, so all my actions dictated that. My first year, I sold 37 houses. Okay, so what if you use that same mentality here for attraction? What if you thought to yourself, as part of my weekly routine, part of my weekly actions, part of my business plan, I'm going to try to find one person, just one person to have a conversation with, to talk about giving them this gift of EXP. And if I can find one person a week, or even one person a month, and I convert one person a month, that's 24 people in your downline. That's a lot of people, you guys. Elizabeth will tell you, even at the alpha level, you know how many people they bring in a year on the front line on average? It's like 4 or 5 people, guys. Everybody thinks they're bringing in 50, 60, 100 people at a time. That's not the case. But if you could just get laser focused on finding that one person to have a conversation with, your life can change. Now we talk about the power of one more. So you've made your calls, you've done your contacts, whatever it is you're going to do, and now you're tired. You got a lot of no's. You got a lot of not right now. I'm just kind of not interested. What if you made that one more call? Just that one. And what if that was the one call that changed the entire trajectory of your life? and the person you're talking to. Does that change your mindset a little bit? So as you're doing these kinds of things, guys, you're thinking about the actions, understand that you got to start somewhere. The goal line isn't as far away as you think it is. It's only that far in your mind. The goal line is actually much closer. Here's the question. At what pace are you working to get to that goal line? If you work at a slower pace to get there, the goal line seems like it's farther. If you're working at a faster pace with a little more urgency, the goal line gets a lot closer. You know, and I realized that when I started in real estate, my first couple, even though I had a great first year, my first 3 months, those 37 houses all happened in the final 9 months. The first 3 months I was spinning wheels. I wasn't really doing anything. You know why? I was 25, living at home, no bills. I had no urgency. It wasn't urgent for me. It wasn't priority for me. It was, I'm going to do this until I grow up and then I really figure out what I'm going to do. Right? It's the same thing with attraction, you guys. To be great at anything, when I think about the pain wasn't painful enough, you're absolutely right. I didn't feel pain. I didn't worry about it at that time. When you, whether it's production or attraction, I like to talk about both a lot. To be great at production or attraction, it's not that you have to be great at 15, 16 things. If you could get 1, 2, or 3 things to a mastery level, that's when serious growth happens. I'm talking about your production. I'm talking about your relationships. I'm talking about attraction. You get things to a mastery level and you watch what happens. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Now, how do I build that relationship? So I was talking about filling positions, right? So if you're new or you have a large organization and you have holes in your organization, what kind of person do I need? What kind of skill set do they need to have to fill that position for my organization? Because think about it, you're running your own company. So if you have a front line that has a bunch of influencers on it, but they're not really cappers or producers, and that's hurting you, then you need to go out and go find some producers. If you got a front line that has a bunch of producers on it, but not a whole lot of people that can influence and help attract, then maybe that's the skill set you want to go after. So now when I'm making that call or I'm having a conversation, it's a lot different. There's a big difference to me calling Meredith Alderson and saying, hey, Meredith, you know, I was wondering if you'd like to grab a cup of coffee and talk about EXP. Meredith's going to say, thanks. I appreciate the phone call. I don't drink coffee. I'll get back to you sometime, right? But if I called Meredith and I said, hey, Meredith, Frank Panuto, and look, I've been following you, you know, what you're doing in your area, and you're crushing it. And, you know, I have my own little organization. I'm looking to partner with someone that has a specific skill set that I think you have that can really help build an organization that you and I can partner together and really grow this thing to where we're both building a passive income, and you know, we're both doing some things. We can take our whole business to a whole nother level. Can I get 30 minutes of your time just to bounce some things back and forth off? I'd like to hear from you and talk about what my vision is, your vision. Would you be interested in having that kind of conversation? I think your chances of getting at least having a conversation would increase if you're talking about a business kind of conversation, a relationship kind of conversation, a getting to know you kind of thing. That's when things happen. That's when things change. So when you do finally get in front of somebody, you should be doing 80% of the listening because it's all about them. Bottom line is this, guys. If you're speaking to someone and they don't find the value in what you're saying, they are going to tune out. Then that conversation's over. So how do we do that? And you know, there's kind of like a cycle, a real estate cycle. And Russ and I, you guys know Russ Lagan? Everybody know Russ? Russ is the man, all right? Russ is my twin brother, who's growing his hair back, by the way, because he wants to look more like me. Even though my hair is going the other direction, his is coming up. Okay, so Russ and I are very close, and we do a lot of training together. And we kind of developed this this timeline where it's like that first, there's different phases in a real estate career. This is mostly his doing, and he was really good about it. But phase one is like you spend the first, you know, however much time trying to make a certain amount of money, don't you? I got to get to $100,000. I got to get to $200,000. I got to get to $300,000. In that first phase of your career, you were just busting it to get to that level. Then you get to the level, and the second phase of your career is, all right, now how do I get some of that time back? because I put 80 hours, 90 hours into that, and I'm running crazy like a chicken with my head cut off to get to that. So now that I've gotten there, how do we get some of that time back? We know the answer to that's leverage, right? Leverage will help you get your time back. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about people and all that kind of thing. So then now you've found that balance. What's the third phase of a typical real estate career? What's my exit strategy? Okay, now I got this great business. I'm sustaining it. I've leveraged it. How the hell am I getting out of it? Right? So now you're talking about an exit strategy. Fourth phase usually is the legacy piece, which is what we have here at EXP. We have a legacy piece, do we not? And then the fifth part of this, which is even better, the fifth phase, is the legacy piece that you can help build for others. So Roderick is at ABC Realty, and he and I have a great relationship, and he and I are talking, and I'm talking about this gift of EXP, and hey, Roderick, this is what it can do for your family. I'm helping him build his legacy. And that's really important, guys. Like, it depends on what kind, what's important to you, but for me, that's a big deal. I'm going to help me, I'm going to help my family, and I want to help others. That's real important to me in life. I feel like, you get in this world what you give, which was actually always the motto for my business. Was I had to give to get motto. My entire real estate business was built around the philosophy of give to get. I never ask anybody for anything. I give a lot, and in return, I got a lot, which was cool. So when you're going to talk to people, there's 4 things on the foundation that you kind of want to get to. And this is how you build a relationship with somebody. Remember, because it's about them, it's not about you. Here's the 4 pillars of how I kind of have conversations with people. Number 1 is, where are you now? Where are you now? Tell me about where you are in your business. Tell me about where you are in your life. How's that going? Good. Okay. What could be better? Okay. So number 1 is, where are you now? Number 2 is, where are you trying to go? What do you want it to look like? Okay. And if you achieve that, what does that do for you? Okay, great. There's a positive future, there's a negative future. If you don't get it, then what's going to happen to your future? These kinds of things. So where are you now? Where are you going to go? The third part of it is, how are we going to get there? What vehicle are you going to use to get there? So understand, you're a $10 million producer, you're trying to get to 50 million. Well, how are you going to get there? What's your plan? Okay, tell me more. Nowhere in that conversation am I trying to fix anything. Am I trying to diagnose anything? Am I trying to prescribe medicine for their pain? Because right now I'm just listening. How do you know how to help somebody if you don't get the whole story? So where are you now? Where are you trying to go? How are you going to get there? And then the fourth question that people fail to ask all the time, which I think is the most important, who's going to help you? Who's going to help you get there? Because here's what I've learned. You can't do it alone. You cannot. So I know what you want to do. I know where you're trying to go. I kind of have an idea of how you think you're going to get there. Who's going to help you do that now? Who are you going to leverage? So when you get these kinds of things and you start having these kinds of conversations, questions flow, conversations flow. You start building a relationship. At that point, it's not really hard. So when we get back to like filling the holes I was talking about, and you start asking these kinds of questions, you really start to find people. Now, who do I target? Who do I go after? There's no right or wrong answer to this. I don't really work on my downline. I'm here to support all of you. But if I were going to work on my downline, I would certainly be, for my front line, targeting people to have the same core values as me. Because at the end of the day, it's still your business. And it's a reflection of your organization. In other words, everybody that's on this screen that's in Elizabeth's downline, I know is an awesome person. Because she's very particular on who she lets into her organization, as she should be. Okay? Because it's a direct reflection of her. She's flying all over the country talking to people, on stage, doing this, all this. Listen, everybody she talks to is a reflection of her.
Hi, can I get a ultimate meat and cheeseburger?
Jessica's eating. Get me one, Jessica. So my point is, if you're very particular, those people, if you can recreate yourself, because we're talking about now, how do you expedite this? How do you 10x your life? And how do you do it at a faster pace? How do I get to the goal line quicker? If you find people with like core values of yourself, and you can reproduce yourself, and you can train people to train people, that's when the magic happens. That's when growth happens. That's when things happen at a faster pace. So the whole point of my conversation today, and I'll get into some other stuff with you, is, it's not as far and as hard as you think, guys, but you got to do it. I had a great conversation. Anybody know Wayne Salmons? Anybody know Wayne? Wayne was a MAPS coach at KW, friend of mine, and he's on my calls a lot. And Wayne's great. He goes, I'm going to give you guys the best script that I have when I go to talk to somebody. And everybody's hanging on the edge of their seat. He goes, hi. That's it. Sometimes you just have to do it, you guys. But don't be afraid. You can't break it. All you're doing is trying to get to know somebody. You co-broke with people all the time, right? So maybe be very conscious of how you handle your transactions. Keep it at the highest level of professionalism. And maybe you start develop a conversation, a relation with somebody. So if I just co-broke with Kay, you're in the upper left-hand corner. So I just co-broke with Kay Evans, and Kay and I had a great transaction. I may say, Kay, you know what? I really enjoyed, and by the way, handwritten notes are a very powerful thing. So you all know, sending a handwritten note to Kay, hey Kay, this is Frank Panuto. Just to let you know, I really enjoyed our co-broke together. You were awesome to work with, and love to grab a cup of coffee with sometime and talk about business. And then follow it up with a phone call. Not hard. Or for those of you who are trying to attract teams, as an example. Hey, Michelle, I'm going to go with Michelle Peacock. Hey, Michelle. Hey, listen, I just want to let you know that I just co-broked with Jackie Foreman, one of your buyer's agents. And I want to let you know Jackie was fantastic. So whatever you're doing, training your people is awesome. And I just want to let you know it was fantastic. I would love to sit and talk to you one day and learn about how you run your team. Because I really like what you're doing. I'd like to have that conversation. You think Michelle might have a cup of coffee with me if I compliment her like that? The truth of it is I am trying to find out what she's doing, right? I do want to learn because I'm trying to build my own team or I'm trying to build my own organization. And that conversation leads to other things. So Michelle, you're doing a great job. Tell me about your team. Great, blah, blah. Let me ask you something. Are you happy where you are now as far as like where your business is? What are you trying to get to? Remember those 4 questions I was asking? Now I'm getting into that. Where do you want this team to be in 3 years, 5 years, 6 months? Oh, wow. How are you going to do that? How are you think you're going to do that? Uh-huh. Do you think you can do it now with the people that you have, or you need more people? Like, who's going to help you? Oh, wow. Okay. You see what I'm saying, guys? It's just a conversation back and forth. There's nothing to be afraid of. The worst thing that happens, you got to meet somebody and you learn something and you took some value. Hopefully every conversation that you have, you give a little bit of value and you get a little bit of value. That's called relationships. It's pretty simple. So how else can we talk to? So Elizabeth wanted me to talk to you guys about the programs that we have, because this is also things that we developed to help you get a conversation started. So there's 3 programs, and they're very sneaky smart on how they did it. So the first one is called Accelerate. Accelerate begins with an A. Even though I said they should have spelled it EX, like XEXP, Accelerate, they didn't do that. Okay, so A for agent. Agent begins with an A, Accelerate begins with an A. What is the Accelerate program? Anybody that you guys recruit, attract, on, so make sure you guys are paying attention. Anybody that you attract that joins EXP, for 12 months following that, their first 3 lines will be completely unlocked. Okay, so we have to hit certain benchmarks that you realize the full amount of the revenue share. Their first 3 levels are fully unlocked. That helps you too. Okay, so that's the Accelerate program. That's to anybody. The next program we have is called Thrive. Thrive begins with a T. Thrive is for teams, which also begins with a T. See where we're going? Pretty smart. So what's the Thrive program? So on these programs, you don't need to get too far into the weeds, you guys. Just knowing having a general idea of what the art of 30,000-foot concept is all you need. Then you'll bring us in and we'll talk about it. But the Thrive program is an equity incentive for teams to partner with us. So it's a stock award, essentially. What we do is we're going to figure out how much company dollar they would have earned with EXP in the past 12 months. And we give the team leader a stock award to that value. And that vests in 3 years. So there's a couple of moving pieces to that. But in general, that's all you need to know, is that it's a stock equity partnership incentive for teams to join us. Then the big one we have is called Boost. Boost begins with a B. Boost is for brokerages, right? So what is Boost? 50 agents, $100 million minimums. So minimum of 50 agents, minimum of $100 million. If they fit into that category, then it's kind of similar to Thrive, but much bigger in that this is now it's monetary. It's not a stock award. So we're going to figure out what their company dollar was for the past 12 months. We're going to look at that, see what it would have been in our model, and then we give them evaluation on what we think that their brokerage is worth. We put evaluation on it. We pay them 10% up front. We reevaluate it at the end of the year, and then we make the final payment to them in 15 months. So again, don't need to get into the details of that, but you get an idea of what it is. So why is this important? Right now, so you guys know, if anybody who has not been in management or leadership before, it's very expensive to run a brokerage. And it's very expensive to run teams. A lot of teams, they pay the lead, they buy the leads, they're paying all their E&O, all this stuff. And right now, with the shift in the market, big teams that look like they're killing it and brokerages, they are probably sucking wind. This is one of the reasons, gets back to the very beginning when I was saying that we're positioned really, really well. That's why we don't have brick and mortar. Can you imagine with 91,000 people, if we had offices everywhere, what our overhead would be and what kind of position we would be in? Isn't it pretty cool that 50 cents of every dollar that comes through the door goes back to you, the agents? That's pretty cool. That's our model. That's why this is the best. And agent-centric, I think, is the most overused word in real estate because nobody can back it up but us. When 50 cents of every dollar comes in and goes back to the agent, that's agent-centric. When the owner of the company could put that money in his pocket because it's profit, but he gives it back to the agents, that's more important, that's agent-centric. When an owner goes out and says, we got 90,000 agents, give us the best healthcare we could possibly get for our agents, and he does it, and it's cheaper than a lot of people are paying at their other jobs, that's agent-centric. I ask people this all the time I'm talking to. All right, I got a question for you, Brian White. You're over at ABC. 2 questions for you. That's all I have. Question number 1 is, how many houses do you have to sell to get ownership in your company? And Brian gives me that blank soap opera stare where it's like that awkward 13 seconds of silence where they just look at you because there's no answer to that. And then there's question number 2 where I say, all right, Brian, I know that question was hard, but I'll give you an easier one. How much company dollar do you pay to your ABC brokers right now? I paid them $40,000 last year. Great. How many houses do you have to sell to get that $40,000 back? That 13 seconds of silence now turns into about a minute silence, and I'm staring at them because they don't have the answer for that either. But we do. Do we not? We know that we can get ownership in this company on our very first transaction. We know that if we we can recoup the company dollar that we paid in the form of stock. Now, how awesome is that? That's great. So when I talk about this as a gift that you're offering people, it's a gift that you're offering people. Elizabeth will tell you, we have people, there was a story shared, not this past shareholder, it was the one before, where one of our alphas was in the hospital for, I think it was 3 or 6 months, I can't remember. It was a long time. If not for his stock and revenue share, he may have been in a really bad shape financially. But thank God for that, because it got him out of, the trouble that he could have been in. I mean, you guys see this. You guys see this in production. How many times somebody runs a credit check and, there's medical bills on there and it's killing their buying power. We see it all the time where it kills their credit. Now, imagine the fact that, what if you're the sole breadwinner in your family and you get sick, you get in an accident, God forbid. Having that revenue stream, having these multiple revenue streams to get you through it is a gift. So all of it gets back again to don't be afraid to talk to people. We've got something that they don't have. And it's pretty awesome. But the more you get to know them first, the easier that conversation has. Does that make sense? I've been blabbing for 37 minutes. Does anybody have any questions so far? Anybody have anything you want to say? Okay.
Speak up, y'all. Ask questions. I mean, Frank is a wealth of information, and I mean, anything that you want to ask, that's why he's here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have a question because I'm looking at the Success magazine this morning, and I
Yes.
am a newer agent with EXP.
Welcome
And so,
and congratulations.
thank you so much. Very excited about it. Super happy.
Good.
So I joined in July, and so what it says here, what I thought it was like, I have a year to be at those tiers from July on, but the last sentence of it says, well, apply to agents who joined on or after March 1st, 2023. The 12-month period began September 7th. So I'm wondering, does it start at June when I joined, or does it start September 7th?
No, it starts on your anniversary date.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And it goes for a year. Right now, there's no end in sight. There's no, we haven't put a period at the end of that sentence yet. Because right now people seem to really like it, and we're happy about that, you know.
Yeah.
And as there's a lot of copycat. I think that obviously we all know that's the saying that the greatest form of flattery is, you know, people copying you, right? So there's a lot of copycat companies out there right now that are trying to do our model and do all that kind of stuff, and we take that as a compliment. But at the same time, the fact that we can pivot and be very fluid and change on a dime makes us a very dangerous company in a good way. The fact that we have money in the bank and no debt puts us in a really, really good position. So that kind of gets back to what I was talking about before. If you are in an area where there's especially the smaller boutique brokerages, you know, the 10 people, 8 people, 15 people, 20, I'm telling you to suck and win. I promise you that. I promise you that. Because they even be competitive, they have to give them at least 75% of the commission. So 75% of the money is going out the door. Those brokerages, so you guys understand, have about 25% of the money coming in to pay all the bills. That's before paying themselves. And if sales are down and that money coming in has gone down, how much money do you think they have? And I'm telling you this because part of my job, 80% of my job, is I talk to brokerages, teams, and agents every day. I have 7 calls today. I had 1 this morning. I've got 6 more after this. We're going to be talking to brokerages and teams. These are the same people that are on every corner, every block in your area. And they're saying, help. How can you help us? How can you help us? Right? They don't say it that way, but that's what they're saying. Now, we're not in the save. You know, we obviously want people that are culturally fit what we do, and make sure that they're in line with what, you know, how we run things, obviously. But we have so many things going on. I think last month we had 3,800 people join our company. I think it was 3,800. That's a lot of people. So, you know, what we like to say in our group, and I'm part of your group, you guys. I'm Elizabeth is in my upline, so I am in your group. And what we like to say is, you know, save the ones that are swimming towards you, right? All you have to do is open your eyes and see who's out there. It's not hard. It'll happen if you start having conversations with people, if you start talking to people, if you start resembling things. If you're not sure how to be a leader, if you're not sure what to do, try to emulate the ones that you respect. I mean, they don't get better than Elizabeth. She does things the right way. Her reputation is flawless out there. So if you're trying to figure out how to do things, emulate those people like that. Get the best part of them that you're comfortable with, and just try to be that person. That attracts other people. It creates momentum. Momentum creates energy. Where there's there's energy. The biggest killer of an organization is no momentum. If you're staying still or going down, there's no momentum. That's a killer. In my world, you're either trending up or trending down. If you're the same, you're trending down. So now how are you going to do that? How are you going to trend up? What actions am I going to take? What changes am I going to make? But then you got to ask yourselves the same thing. Those 4 questions I asked everybody else, I'm going to challenge all of you. Where are you? I don't need your answer, but where are you guys now? And are you happy? I hope you are. But where do you guys really want to get to? How are you guys going to do it? And who's going to help you? If you don't have a clear vision of what you're trying to get to, it's going to be hard to achieve those goals. It is a proven fact that when you write your goals down, your chance of success of achieving those goals increases by 87%. Have you taken this fourth quarter? Elizabeth said it. We are a couple of weeks away, 3 weeks away from the new year. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. 2025. Thought we'd be in spaceships by now, right? The Jetsons. I thought we'd be in the Jetsons by now. But for 2025 to be different than 2024, you're going to have to make changes. If you want to grow, you have to make changes. My question to you is, what changes are you going to make? Have you business plan for production? Have you business plan for attraction? Because they both require business planning. You think Elizabeth's jumping on planes at a whim? I think next week I'll go to Arizona. I think next week let's go to St. Louis. That sounds kind of cool right now. It doesn't work that way, guys. I guarantee it, and I haven't talked to her about it. I guarantee her next 6 months are completely laid out. That's just how she rolls. It is laid out, right? And that's how you achieve those goals. So what I'm asking you guys, are you ready? Are you ready to make a change? Are you ready to grow? And remember, it's for your families. It's for your legacy. When you don't do that power of one, when you don't do that power of one more, you've let your family and your legacy down. Everything you're doing is for them, right? When I got into real estate, this kind of model wasn't even available. And nobody thought like this. God, I wish when I was 25 that this was around. I'd be in a much different position here at 55. I'd be in a whole different position. But it didn't exist. But it does now. And I can tell you, even at 30 years in the business, I changed the way I do things now. My mindset's completely different. My frame of mind is completely different. I'm in the happiest space in real estate I've ever been in, ever. I've never been this happy, ever, in this profession as I have been these past 2 years. And that's true. Honest to God's truth. Even my wife sees it in me all the time. She's like, man, you're pretty happy. I go, you're damn right. You know why? I love what I do every day because I love the people I'm doing it with. I've never felt this. It's awesome. Not only that, I look at my 4 girls and I'm like, you know what? I see light now. And I know I can do it now. I know I can give them the life I've always dreamed of giving them. I didn't grow up with anything. Okay. Everybody has that same story. Yeah, you guys heard a story a million times. I didn't grow up with anything. So it was always important for me to give my family, when I was going to have one day, the best chance they can have. And I've been grinding. Real estate's a grind. You guys know that. You know the hamster wheel. Don't be a transactional agent. Don't live transaction to transaction. It's hard. It's exhausting. The good news with this model is you don't have to. You don't have to be a transactional agent. You can have that great compensation package. You can get those stocks that the company gives you. You can purchase stocks at a discount. You can build a rev share and a passive income. It's all here for you. There's 2 ingredients to be great at EXP. Number 1, you got to think big. And I mean big. Bigger than you ever thought. And don't be afraid of it. Because sometimes people are afraid. Don't be afraid to think big. You got 91,000 coworkers that want to help you in 24 countries. I'm in Delaware. My entire state is the size of this screen that you guys are looking at. And I have a partner in India and in the UK. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that would be possible from Delaware. You got to be kidding me. But it happened. Think big. The second thing you got to do, plug in. Plug all the way in. You've got leverage, resources, collaboration. You got some of the best people in the industry. You have Elizabeth Riley in your upline as a leader. This is one of the most brilliant minds in our industry, in this country. You have this. You have these resources. Plug in. Plug in. Use it. Never once would she say to you, I don't have time for you. Never once would I say to you, I can't help you. Absolutely not. You want me? Get on Workplace. Send me a chat. I will get back to you that day. I will help you. I will fly out to you. I will help. I will do whatever I need to do. That's what we do here. Think big. Plug in. Great things will happen. I promise you. I promise you. But if you stay stagnant and you stay complacent and you stay safe because it's comfortable, don't expect a lot of change to happen. And that may not be a bad thing, but it depends on what your mindset is. Does that resonate with anybody? Does that help you a little bit? I hope. I hope.
I love this, Frank, because I was in a meeting recently with a number of people, and somebody made a statement that had recently, and there were a number of people in there that just recently came over from other companies.
Yep.
And the trend in that meeting was like, this is insane how you guys collaborate. And that made me, I mean, I've been here for a long time.
Yep.
And it made me realize people don't operate like we do. And what we have is unique and it's special. And the collaboration is very, very different because we all win and we're all owners of the company. And when you own something, you just treat it differently. So because I kept thinking everybody knew what we were about. Everybody knew our culture. Everybody knew, what we were doing, but they're not doing that at their companies, and they're on an island, and they're having, like you said earlier, they're struggling.
Yeah.
It looks like from the outside, they're all doing really, really well. But when you start getting in those conversations and you're asking the questions, just like you were laying out there, figuring out what the pebble in their shoe is and not solving for it, but just inviting them to things. I mean, here in my market, we do a lot of local things, and it's not just for our own benefit, it's to invite other people. So whatever market you're in, invite people to events, invite people to go hear speakers, invite people to meetings or collaborations or accountability. And if they don't have that, create it. I mean, we've got 100, 200 people coming to a meeting next week, and it's for all brokerages. It's definitely going to help all the EXP agents, but it's great, and it's a great attraction tool as well. Let's show them what we're about instead of telling them. Frank, you know me, I always talk about don't EXP on people.
Right.
We don't want to be EXPing on people. But if we show them, I mean, like my friend said the other day, this is not normal.
Right.
And that's so fun. And to your point, you do this every day because you love it. You don't have to do this. I don't have to show up every day. I mean, people ask me all the time, why are you still in production? Why are you still showing up every single day? I work probably harder now and longer hours, my family will tell you, than I ever did, before, because we own this company. And for those people that are looking at like the copycatters and you're like, oh my gosh, there's competition. First of all, competition is a good thing because it keeps us agile and it keeps us on our toes and it keeps us innovating. But it's also very, very challenging to grow. And it's very challenging to build and scale. And what we did, I mean, a lot of people early on didn't realize we were putting the tracks in front of the train as fast as we were going. And it was painful. I would rather be in a model that's proven, that's actually leading the way, and people are watching what we're going to do next. Instead, I mean, copycatters, there's always going to have to be somebody in second place, but they don't have the pain points because they don't know. They're not big enough yet. They're just thinking they understand what we are, and they don't. So it's much more fun to be on the rocket ship together where we're all building this and moving forward, especially in this market. So to Frank's point, I mean, he just told you, reach out to him on Workplace Chat. You guys know to get me on Workplace Chat anytime or text, but Frank is corporate. Frank is like serving so many different people. And he just said, reach out to me, and he means it. So that's the beauty of our model, where we're all here helping. Frank will get on calls with me, with other agents, with other brokers, with other teams, no matter what we need. So utilize him in that capacity. That's what he loves to do, and he's really good at it. And when people talk to Frank, they're like, oh my gosh, I love Frank, right? He's not corporate, he's not stuffy, he's not recruiting people. He's really truly building the relationship. So leverage that. He's just a great person to know, and so now he's in your world just as much as he is in mine.
Thank you. But you bring up a good point in that, don't assume everybody knows who we are and how we are. Because a lot of the phone calls I have, I spend a lot of time explaining EXP. Because a lot of people really don't know, like they've been brought onto this call and they're like, I really don't even understand your model. Like, what do you guys do? So, you would be surprised how many people do not know about us. Or remember what I said at the beginning, it was presented to me wrong. So just because somebody has spoken to somebody else about it, we may hear that. Oh, you know what? I spoke to Kay about it. She told me about it a long time ago. I said, what? I understand. I'm sure she did a great job, but I'd like you to hear it from me. Let me explain it to you from my perspective, because you're going to explain it a little bit differently than anybody else, because it's your words now, and it's your
Well, and
experience.
what's important to them,
Yeah,
right? I tell this story all the time. When Glenn Sanford and I met for the first time, he had 400 agents, and all Glenn talked to me about was rev share. I mean, I had no interest in rev share, and I told him that. I told Glenn Sanford, I am not interested in rev share, because that wasn't my understanding. I didn't understand rev share. I thought I understood because I was in profit share. I didn't understand stock. I didn't understand a lot of things. But if he had asked me questions to understand what was important to me, that's when we got, well, he did ask questions after. He's like, wait, you're not interested in rev share. What are you interested in? Well, I'm a top producer and I have a baseball cap. What, like, you're talking about stock. What could that look like? So when you ask the questions, you understand what their interests are, and then you can kind of lead, the conversation. But just don't assume that everybody cares about rev share. Only 12% of our company, y'all, even participates in rev share. Like, that's a narrative out there in the marketplace that's incorrect. People are like, oh, you're just a recruiting company. Well, no, not really. We're the number one company that is in for transactions, right?
Yep.
We're publicly traded. Our stock is going this way while everybody's going this way. Our revenue is going this way while everybody's going this way. We're focused on transactions. We're focused on building people's real estate businesses. We're focused on one client at a time. The stock is a benefit that we're just awarded because we're all owners, and we're lifting others as we climb. And when one wins, we all win, regardless of lines. The revenue share piece is a complete, like, cherry on the top, but only 12% participate. So no, we're not a recruiting company. We're a real estate company. So it's just, don't let the outside dictate our narrative.
Yeah.
It's your company. It's our
I'm going to
company.
leave you with, can I give you one more thing? And then I'll leave them alone.
Please.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys 3 things to avoid if you're trying to make 2025 better than 2024. Anybody interested in that? If I can give you 3 things to think about, mindset. Okay. Number 1, spending your time doing the wrong things, meaning that you're doing things that aren't moving you closer to your goals. Try to avoid that. That's number 1. Number 2, when you're doing the right things, those specific smaller things that help you move towards your goal, make sure that you aren't being disturbed when you're doing them. For example, and I'm not offended, a lot of people are on the cell phone during this call today. That's distraction. We're talking about attraction. We're talking about trying to 10x a little bit, trying to grow a little bit. A lot of people got distracted, right? If you can remove the distraction, things can happen. A lot of times, and I coach girls basketball. I mean, I've been coaching for coming up on 30 years of high school girls basketball. And we always say, it's the details that you win in. It's the small details. The small details of what gets you moves. That's the difference between winning and losing a lot of times. Same thing here. The third thing is not doing the right things effectively, meaning that you didn't get them to a mastery level. So drill down on the things that are going to really move the needle for you. As I said before, try to get them to a mastery level. And I'll tell you one way to do it. That's really simple. And then I'll leave you guys alone. We talked about business planning. I know, Elizabeth, I got one more thing and one more thing and one more thing. I can't help
You're
myself.
awesome. We love it.
So when you business plan, I used to do every Sunday night, what's my week going to look like for next week? When I was in production. What if you guys did a 24-hour business plan? That I need to get these things done in the next 24 hours. I'll give you an example. You ever notice how much you get done the day before you go on vacation? You got 9 things you got to get done. And come hell or high water, those 9 things are getting done before you go on vacation, because you're not going to have that distraction. What if you brought that same intensity, that same focus to a 24-hour business plan? I am not leaving today until I accomplish these 3 things. And it's not 15 things, because you'll never do it. It's 1, 2, or 3 things. That's how you get to a mastery level. I'm going to call or connect or try to build a relationship with at least one person today. My day won't be over until I do it. I'm going to write that one letter. I'm going to make that one call. I'm going to make that one post, whatever I'm going to do. Same thing with if you're doing a drip campaign for production. But what if you narrow to 24 hours? That means you have 5 business plans every week. What do you think your business is going to look like a year from now? If you drill down, you remove the distractions, and you get certain things to a mastery level, and you have 5 24-hour business plans, do you think things will be different? Think about it. Guys, thank you so much for putting up with me for 57 minutes. I'm a lot to handle. I get it. My family tells me shut up all the time. But I really appreciate it. I am here 1000% to support all of you in any way, shape, or form that I can. That is my job. It is my passion. When I told you, when Dave said this is the job, give me the job description. I get to help these guys grow. I'm in. Never talked about money. Didn't care. It's the whole reason why we all get into real estate, isn't it? Don't you guys put your chips on you? I want to sink or swim with me. I don't want somebody to tell me what my worth is. That'll never happen. Ever. Never happen. Nobody's going to dictate my value. I will dictate that. And I want you guys to do the same. If there's any way that I can ever help any one of you, please, 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 please just reach out to me. It's all you have to do. We're family. Take my cell phone number down, everybody. Take my cell phone. I'm a 7-day-a-week guy.
Oh man,
30
you're opening a can of worms.
That's fine. Hey, this is part of our family tree. We are all family here. I don't do
That's
this
true.
for everybody, but this is our family. 302-598-0515. Send me a text first, because a lot of times I'm on Zoom, I might not be able to answer. If you send me a text and say, Frank, it's Michelle Peacock, I'm in Elizabeth Stanley, can you please give me a call? Absolutely, I'm going to call you back. It's not a problem. All right. Thank you guys so much for your time. It really is. It's been a pleasure, and I hope I brought you something today.
Frank, I adore you, friend. Thank you for coming in and just adding so much value and sharing your morning with us. So
thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks
hope you guys are all inspired and excited. And yeah, definitely reach out to Frank because he's here to help us.
Thanks, Frank. That was amazing.
Thanks, guys. Thank you all. Have a
Bye,
great
y'all.
Christmas.
Thank you, Frank.
Bye.
Bye.